So if you guys have been around YouTube for a while, you probably remember when family channels were literally everywhere. Like back in the day, you couldn't stop scrolling for more than 5 seconds without seeing some type of morning routine video with somebody's 3 kids. It was so crazy back then. Like the titles would be, you know, we surprised our son with the Lamborghini. It's just, you know, crazy stuff like that. A lot of it for me definitely seemed wholesome. It just seemed like families, you know, living their life, filming themselves, doing different challenges and stuff. But for some of these channels I'm about to cover, it's been a completely different story. A lot of these channels either fell off, got exposed, or turned into something way different than what they started out as. So let's talk about what actually happened to family channels. Starting off with DaddyOFive, of course. If you guys watched that video that I made a month ago, pretty much covering the whole drama behind the family, you pretty much know the whole spill. But for those who don't know, obviously I will explain it for you guys. Pretty much DaddyOFive was one of the many family channels on YouTube, probably like 2015, 2016, I think. But they definitely did have an interesting type of content that they would do. Obviously, pranking is one of the most normal things in family channels, but the way they prank people were kind of crazy. And these weren't just people like adults, these were children. And sure, you know, child pranks, I mean, most of the time are harmless, but with this family, it was a little different. As I covered in my first video, they pretty much did pranking content, and let's just say the pranks weren't all that funny to most people. They made countless videos on the main child, who basically got the grunt of the extreme pranks. His name was Cody, and pretty much his reactions on the pranks pretty much blew up the channel.
Who's that?
What is this?
Cody!
You tell me! I didn't do that! You tell me what you did! I swear to God, I didn't do that!
Cody!
Crawl over your carpet! I didn't do this! I'm just playing Uno!
You're writing 1,000 sentences.
So you were f***ing up here too? No, we
You did it too! You both did it!
And the clip I just showed you guys pretty much just sums up a lot of the pranks that were going on, and a lot of people did not like it at all. It pretty much gained traction across all, you know, pretty much all of YouTube and the internet, and YouTubers like Philip DeFranco commented on the situation, basically, you know, sidebar shaming their behavior with the kids. Ultimately though, it did end up being a serious case that led to Cody and the daughter Emma, which was also another victim of these pranks, I guess, and they ended up being taken away to their biological mother, resulting obviously in, you know, the DaddyOFive guy losing custody of the kids. The channel was later terminated off of YouTube, and pretty much they went silent, while the actual sons of the family started their own channel in substitute of their dads pretty much. And it was pretty much like that for a few years up until recently, I believe this year, where the family released a reuniting video.
Well, you know what? Come here.
Come on, Cody and Emma.
Come here, Rose.
Come on. Down here. Mom's in the front.
You ought to know.
Cody's got something to say. Leave us alone.
It's all done. It's squashed. Everybody's good.
The next story though definitely may be a lot more serious to most, and that is the 8 Passengers channel. With this story, I could literally do a whole separate video on this covering the whole thing, but for the sake of time, I'll cover it in the most simplified way I can. Basically, Ruby Frank, who was the mom of the 8 Passengers channel, launched it in 2015. It was pretty much like daily vlogs of her big Mormon family in Utah. She had her husband Kevin and 6 kids, and they were pretty much posting like 5 times a week. By the end of 2020, they had around, I believe, 2.5 million subs and over 1 billion views. It was just crazy. I mean, this isn't really new numbers for family channels. Bro, even today, like, you could probably look up a family channel and they could probably get millions of views per video. The content was pretty much straightforward. It was like homeschooling, chores, family hikes, all that kind of stuff. Just, you know, family content. But like most downfall channels, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Around 2020, viewers started noticing like a weird pattern of just like parenting. To most people, it seemed off. Basically, one of the kids was forced to sleep on a beanbag for 7 months as a punishment for a prank that they did. And another time was when Ruby pretty much refused to feed her 6-year-old at school because she believed that her kid should have packed it herself.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October. I'll give you the reason why I lost my bedroom. I think so. I think this is the reason. At least this is the reason that's been in my head. Pretty funny, but now that I look back, it's pretty depressing. Woke Russell up at 2 in the morning and told him that we're going to Disneyland and he has to pack. And he got up and made his bed all neatly and then packed all his clothes in the suitcase. And then he walked out the door and I'm like, Russell, he's like, what? And he's all happy. Has his sunglasses on.
Do you think it's funny? Because
and then I walk out.
If you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
it was not funny.
Obviously, seeing this, a lot of people questioned her discipline methods, and some stated it felt abusive even if it wasn't physical. Obviously though, not all abuse is physical, because you have emotional abuse as well, and people saw this as just a way of doing this for views. A couple years later, and the channel went completely silent. I'm not entirely sure of the timeline here, but apparently after that, Ruby and her husband had separated, and the channel was deleted shortly after they had separated. She then partnered with a therapist named Jody, who I'm not sure if it was Jody who ran it or if it was both of them, but basically she was a part of this self-help podcast. A couple years later, and things went from suspicious to serious. Ruby's youngest son, Russell, basically escaped Jody's home, and he was malnourished and bound with duct tape. He went to a neighbor asking for help, which triggered CPS and police getting involved. The two kids were found in critical condition, and both Ruby and Jody were arrested for aggravated abuse. Now I know I'm skipping timelines a little bit, but fast forward, and basically they pled guilty to the counts of abuse, and basically they were facing up to 30 years in prison. Now honestly, this whole situation to me is probably by far the worst downfall I've ever seen from a family channel. Like, you know, getting canceled on YouTube is one thing, but being put in prison is like completely left field. Now I've kind of skimmed through this whole story. There's so much more to it, but let me know if you guys would like to see a separate video on that. I can cover the whole thing, but I'm just kind of getting it all out for you guys in a short amount of time. But with this next family, which I'm sure a lot of you know about, this situation just shows a lack of honesty that was betrayed pretty much with this whole situation. If you guys haven't guessed already, the Ace family is the next story. Basically, the Ace family was a family channel, of course, where they launched their channel in 2016. They quickly hit 18 million subs, which is absolutely insane. Basically, they shot vlogs and showcased their luxury lifestyle. They also shot a bit of pranks and just a lot of family content. It honestly seemed like the perfect family life, like dream cars, matching outfits with the kids. Bro, everything looked great. But obviously, I'm making this video for a reason. Things quickly shifted around 2021, where basically they were being accused of not paying fighters from a YouTube event, I believe. YouTubers versus TikTokers boxing match. Apparently, people from the event were coming out declaring that they weren't paid. So I'm guessing the boxers who basically participated in the event obviously came out and said that they weren't paid. I'm not entirely sure how much of this is actually true, but obviously being accused of something like this while you're known to be rich is not a good look. Not only that though, the family was also facing lawsuits from a social media company and a construction rental company regarding their house. The mansion pretty much went into pre-foreclosure, which is basically right before, I believe, the house gets auctioned, and pretty much they gotta move out. And usually this is due to like missed mortgage payments. Something pretty much that's not being paid is really the result of this. And so the property ended up being auctioned, and obviously through that they had to be evicted. Even though the family does deny these claims of them being evicted, it's really up to the internet, I guess, to believe what they believe. I'm not entirely sure on the whole entire situation. Maybe you guys in the comments might be more aware of that, but pretty much fast forward a year or so and they would announce that they would be quitting on YouTube. This was in mid of 2022, so yeah, it's a pretty big jump. And then officially the two would announce that they would split in January of 2024, where basically Catherine would post on her Instagram and quote, "It's over, but he'll always be my best friend." But since then, there's really been no further drama on the family. Now, from what I've learned from all of this, it's clear as day that the internet is like the judge, jury, and executioner when it comes to situations like this. It's usually the thing that brings situations to a whole nother level, and sometimes it's a good reason for that, and then other times it's really not. So if you're thinking of becoming a family channel, I'm telling you guys, please take notes from these channels, man. There's very, very easy and avoidable mistakes here. Honestly, if I had to rank them on a scale of seriousness, for me, the Ruby Frank situation is literally like the worst. I mean, for a family channel's downfall, for the main person of the channel to literally get locked up for probably minimum 5 years, 10 years is insane to me. And obviously the channel is pretty much, as far as I know, the channel is done. So yeah, it's crazy. Second, obviously the DaddyOFive family. I mean, to me that wasn't as bad. I mean, it was pretty rough stuff, but nothing I would really deem worse than the first one we definitely covered. And obviously the Ace family for last. To me, the Ace family didn't really seem that bad. Honestly, I just thought it may have been like some more so allegations regarding people who's being scammed and stuff like that. Other than that, I mean, they did have some like lawsuits or whatever, but that's more so on like the business side of things. Honestly, them as a family, you know, is probably real solid. So let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Honestly, obviously to me, me, I think it's evident what the most extreme situation was in this video, but let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Also, I am building a Discord out for the channel. Make sure you guys check the link in the description. Hop in there and get connected with the people in there, and I'm out.